Okay, we're back on our 65 here. Getting ready to put the heads on it. So we got our new head bolts right here. Let's get them opened up. Here's our intake manifold, all cleaned up. And these are the intake clamps we're going to use. We got the James Fancy Dancy head gaskets and a new set of O-rings for the intake. Now on these motors here, it's really hard to get these clamps in here on the heads because there's not enough room to really get them in there. So what we're going to do is we're going to put the rear head on here first, get it all down, and not tie it, but just bring it down. And then we get the intake manifold, we slip it in, and we put the head in here and slide it all together and tighten up as a unit. That way you don't have to fight around these clamps, they'll just be laying around the intake manifold right here. So that's how we're going to do it. So for now, we're going on this project. Hopefully we don't have any interruptions today. I'm sure that would never happen, right? Okay, first thing you do is get your head bolts out. Got a new set we're putting in, obviously. Okay, you make sure you put the washer shiny side up. We'll put a little bit of assembly oil onto the threads so it'll torque nice. We pre-do those. It takes forever to do everything. I was trying to keep that from happening. Oh well. Failed. Last one. Need some oil though. Okay, you also make sure you put oil in the clamps here. They torque a lot better when you got some lube on the threads. You get more holding power for the same amount of torque. It just takes a drop on there is all it takes. Always do that on my intake and exhaust hardware. Oh, I forgot to do something first. We need to get the exhaust pipes to fit. That's a whole nother problem down here. There's our motor mount. We gotta see if these are gonna fit. And it appears that it's missing a bolt. Looks like this is a 3-bolt system on this clamp. Yeah, so they got some hardware for that. So we gotta make sure these fit on the pipes and the heads. Alright, I've got 2 heads. This one here is the front one. So you want to make sure the front pipe fits on the front head. Look at that. Nice snug fit like it's supposed to be. Amazing. And the rear one. A little bit tighter, but fits right on. See, you got standard pipes and standard exhaust. So it gets things fit. Amazing. Now, if you don't lay these on top of your covers, the covers don't get all scratched up. Very important. Okay, next problem is we're going to have to get this exhaust pipe fitted in here at the same time as the head goes on. It's a lot easier doing this stuff all at once, because usually there's no room for doing any of this stuff. This clamp appears to be on there pretty good. So we have to do a little precision work here. Alright, kind of get it where it belongs. Appears to have very little room to get in here. That's why you better put this in now. Whoop, camera wasn't watching. So this had to slip in from the top, like this. Kind of run it in like this. So you get it inside the hole first. Get it all shoved down. You have to do some fine tuning when you get to the head. Hopefully it fits in there easily. Find out. Okay, you gotta make sure the bolt pattern lines up with your head. Goes on like that. Usually you get the dome below the top, so the parts fit in easier. Kick her out of the way, give more room. Okay, here's our rear head. Not fitting in very easy. Too much crap in the way. Usually don't go in too good from the left either, but let's find out. Get the plug wires out of the way. Bang, bang. Yeah, nothing's fitting in here very well. It appears that everything is in the way to put this together easily. Yeah. Wonderful. It's going to have to go in this way. Not sure how that's going to work. It ain't going to work for squat. That's how it's going to work. It's going to be a bear to get this in, I bet. Let's get the head in here first. See, this doesn't even fit in here either. Nice. Frame's a little bit too close. Doesn't fit. It's hitting up here. Now if you just beat on this thing and shove it in, it puts two big gouges right through the head gasket surface where you don't want to be gouged up. So that's not how you want to do it. So, we have a major issue. It's called it doesn't fit. Nice. So the frame is too low. Let's see, what are we going to do about this? See if you can't, there's any way we can turn it, fake it, get it to go in easier. Nope, not happening. You see how it gouges the head up right in here? So that causes lots of issues. See, it'll put a big gouge right into that spigot hole there. It does the same thing over on this side over here. So that's why you don't want to force them. See if there's some way we can get that in there. Nope. There we're just about 30 thou too short. That's just all there is to it. Alright, so we're going to have to cheat. I'm going to have to stretch the frame up a little bit. So usually what I do is put a porta power in here, and come off the cylinder case here and go up here and lift the frame up. Then you can shove the head in and let the thing go back down. It's not exactly the best way of doing things, but when they don't fit, they don't fit. This frame's way too tight. Shouldn't be this hard. Alright, yeah, definitely fun. Now, if the head gasket goes out of the way, wouldn't make any difference. And just thinking of any other options here while we're looking at this. No, I see none. Alright. They all suck. That's pretty much your only option. Alright, let me get my porta power out and we'll be back. Okay, we got our porta power stuck in here. Got the cranks over here. We got blocks under here. Up here, we go up to the motor mount, pushed on the case, the block here, which pushes on the case down below. So the tricky part is to take the load off the case. You don't break anything. So I got round stock underneath here, these welding rod, which goes down between the cylinder decks, or between the cylinders and lays on the case deck. I got a round bar stock on top of those that splits out the load evenly. Then I got a flat block on top of that, and I got a spacer block here. So we're pushing on this block here, which is pushing on the fairly even against the case, and the cylinder is all about the same pressure. And then this is going to spread the frame up a little bit and allow the head to go in between. It's already gone up just a little bit, just holding it like that. And the bungee cord's here so the head doesn't fall off. I'm by myself. Being terrible if the head dropped on the floor. I have to fix it. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and crank this sucker up. Let's see if you get that. We can kind of see what's going to happen here. And hopefully nothing stupid happens. It's trying to come out. Still not coming. Frame's bending. Yep. Frame's bending. Literally. Well, that wasn't good. I got the head jammed in there. Come on. A little bit further. How's the hold up now? And head's in there. It's in there tight. Well, the head's in there, but it is right up against the frame. So we're going to have to do something about that too. Can't have it rubbing on the frame, it'll just vibrate and make all kinds of racket. Alright, there's no clearance on that thing, it is right up on there. Alright, it bent the frame over a little bit, but we'll have to straighten that out with a hammer and stuff. You can see how much I moved the frame up. Didn't have much any choice in that there, but it's got tension on it right now. Right here in the center, it's hitting on it pretty hard. Alright, definitely not the ideal situation, that's for damn sure. Alright, so here's our block system. We got this one here. Now the fin went right between here, so it wouldn't damage the fin. You see how this one here laid on top of those, which spread the load out. Down here where all the marks are on the cylinders, casting marks. You can see how it's pushing pretty hard on it. See how it dimpled the aluminum a little bit. That's why I wanted to use aluminum. Preferably something soft so we don't do any damage to it. First time I had to do that on a panhead. Chevrolets have to do it every now and then. Mid to late 70s, Harley had a lot of issues with their frames. We used to have to do these tricks like this all the time. But first time on a panhead. Okay, let me get this cleared up and we'll be back. Okay, I pulled a thread. I didn't film what I was doing. So I'm rocking the head back and forth, trying to get a bolt up in there to hold it. Get the gasket up where it belongs. So at least now I'm kind of got the gasket where it belongs. Hopefully. Let's bolt that. Basically just prying the gasket back and forth, trying to get the bolt to go in the hole. Fighting the gasket. Started. There we go. When I had started, it wasn't in there all the way. It was in there far enough to get the thing to start. Okay, I got the gasket moved back over so the holes are now lined up now. Which is kind of interesting. I should have put bolts in there. So it's a cut down 1/4 inch ratchet, SK. So I ground the OD down here to fit up between the fins. And Snap-on makes the 9/16 quarter drive socket, which allows you to do it. Snap-on also makes a real fine tooth one. This is standard, so it takes more clicks per degree of movement. But I like this style here. You can flip it easier, work it easy. So anyway, it's more standard tools that are customized. Okay, let's get the other bolts in. This quick bolt together project is not being quick or easy, and it's definitely not being a bolt together. Every piece we put on, you don't want to go. started. This clutch rod is in the way. I might have to take it off maybe. We'll see. If I can get below it. Get the last one started. I don't want to move anymore. Long, slow process of getting these bolts all the way up. Motor's in the way. A good shot of me, huh? How about the bike? All right. This is where that fine tooth will actually come in handy. Go nice and slow. I'm going to get a couple of little clicks at a time here, you hear it. It just keeps going though, for now. When you go between the fins, you get a little more, another click out of it. When you hit on the tip of the fin, it slows down the process slightly. Definitely takes a while. Alright. We'll go ahead and get these moved up and we'll come back. It'll take about 5 minutes. Okay, we're back over here. So I got the head lightly pulled down, not tight though. So right now the head's bound up because of the sitting on the frame up in here. It looks like it's only hitting heavy right in the center, not too much. It's not hitting right here, but it's not a lot of clearance either. Ideally, you want about 50 or 60 thou clearance to your frame so you got room for the motor to grow. So that's a little bit about what this is here. This is probably in the 40s. Piece of aluminum shim. So what we got to do is we got to bend this cover out of the way. So the easy way of doing that is take a screwdriver and jam it between the frame and the cover and just shove it on down. Piece of copper here. Protect the chrome a little bit. Let's see if I can get this thing to go down a little bit. Okay, that put a gap in there at least. No room, but put a gap in it. Okay, that put more of a gap. jam the screwdriver in there and pull it out. That gives me a little bit of a gap. This is a little bit stronger up here. It's the corner. Need the same gap though. Quite enough. Clearance there now. Okay, it's tight on the other side too, it looks like. Yep. It's got enough clearance. We're good around the back side. Alright, that gave us a little bit of a gap under the frame now. Up under there. So that's keep it from having a problem. Get rid of that light. So you can see the gap up under here now. And we got a little bit more through here now. Up under there. And it looks like in the back side here, we're good on the back side here. Not that I can get the wiring out of the way to even see, but there we go. So you can see up in there's a gap all the way around there. But it doesn't look like we have any frame clearance. I don't know what I'm going to do about that. I can't bend that piece. Yeah, that's going to be a rub teal. I can't fix that problem. I have no access to that one. That one's just going to make noise until it rubs away. Nothing I can do about that one. The rest of those I can fix. So this one is causing it to bind up. This one back here. These are only partially binding. Okay, so now I'm going to loosen these bolts up, see if I can move the head a little bit now. That's the problem, I couldn't move the head at all, but I probably won't be able to move it because it's against the frame back on the back side. It wasn't the cover on top, it's the back side. That's probably why the head didn't want to go on the cylinder either. It's an interference fit. Okay. Movement out of this thing. Does move a little bit. Okay, so we're rotated around like this right now. It allows me to get the intake manifold over in here without too much effort, hopefully. Okay, bring those down until they just touch. Okay, now I get to the other side. Let's see how many more columns we're going to have. Let's see, that one has to line up right there. We had lots of problems with the rear head, so hopefully the front end goes on a little easier. Tied up on the gas tank area, but it's on there. Okay, now we got to do our intake clamps. Let's see how close the intake fits. Looks like I'm going to have plenty of length there. The intake's a little on the short side, so. Okay, so I'll go over here, look at the intake, see how close it fits up. Get the angle, see how looks like it lines up pretty closely right there, so that's a big plus. Okay, so looks like that's going to fit pretty good right there. So I'm going to go ahead and pull the head back off, get the intake rubbers up in here and the clamps, and try to get that to mount up. So the problem is, see, we can't get these in here. It's pretty hard to get them in there. These ones I might be able to get them up in there, I'm not sure. But I'm going to do it the easier way. Pull the head off. It's a lot easier if you have a couple people helping you, but at least 2 people doing the job instead of just me. We just have to make do with what we got. Okay, these have to go on here. You gotta figure out how you want this clamp to be on here. This bike looks like you can almost put these clamps on backwards. That'd be different. Haven't done it that way before. That'd be nice. You had a stupid ass clamp sticking out, look like crap. Huh, that might actually work. Yeah. I'm gonna give that a try. I like that. Okay, so you got a clamp and a rubber go on there. Now if you put a little bit of tension on these to hold the clamp on it, it'll make it a little bit easier to hold it together. So I need a long extension to tighten it from the other side. Get that where it gets a little tension on it so it'll stay put where you want it. Put the O-ring in there. Do the same thing on this side. Rubber goes in, intake goes in like this. Shove the head up in there. Rotate a little bit, see if it'll help center up a little bit. Of course, everything is in the way. Have no access to get to any bolt on this side of the bike. Everything is hidden by something else. Try this side. Did you hear it pop up in there? Hopefully it'll start now. There it goes. There's only one bolt that's not buried behind something. That's because the push rods are out. With the push rods in there, you wouldn't have anything you can get to. Distributor's completely in the way. Can't even get a finger up under there to get in there at all. Yep, just pop in the hole. Just can't rotate it. It'll fall out, I just can't rotate it. Try to get the ratchet up in there. And luckily that got in there. Not grabbing anything now. Nope. Just enough drag, it won't go. Let's see if we can look out, get it to start. I think it started. Yep, it started. We know it started because it hasn't fallen out yet. Once you get two bolts to pull the head down, then it'll, the other ones you should be able to get in. But you gotta get the head pulled down. We got tension on these rubbers in here, so they have to squeeze, which puts tension on everything. Pull an exhaust stud a little bit, a bolt or a port to cock the head back in. Helps a little bit. Alright, now we're pulling this side down. It's got tension on it now. Let's get some more bolts in there. We got two of them in there now. Hopefully they line up. These other ones will start. She's got no access to anything. So you're working on the very tip of the tip, trying to turn something that doesn't want to turn. I think it's started maybe. It's cross-threaded or something. There it goes. Cross-thread the first thread, but then it caught. Okay, we're going to work these up. We'll be back in about 20 minutes on this job, I bet. So we'll be back when I get further up. Alright, we're back after being interrupted for a while. Okay, so I got the heads on here. I got to torque them yet, adjust a few things. So I got the intake manifold on here. We got to make sure that's straight. So you can put a straight edge up like this, or if you got something square like my scale, you can come off the face like that and level it out. Make sure it's level. So we're pretty close right now. I'm going to go ahead and tighten these down right now so I make sure the heads are centered just a little bit. That way the heads will be, the manifold will be lined up and not be cocked or something. So I just put a little bit of pressure on these, and if I have to readjust these after I get the carb on, I'll come back and redo it. So these aren't full tight, but they're pretty tight. So more likely we're going to be back on this. Okay, now what did I do with that wrench? Okay, now what I do is I loosen these up just one more time. Make them kind of self-center. Looks like I already had them loosened up already. I forget where I left off, so we're just going to go and loosen up, make sure there's a little clearance on them. Okay, everything seems to be pretty good, so I'm going to go ahead and torque them down. And the manifold is going to hold the head straight with each other, so you'll have a nice alignment. Okay, we got 2 bolts tight on that side. Come over here on the other. I tighten the 2 over this side, so go 180 across the head and tighten this one. First, that'll level the head out, and we'll hit this one. Let's see, this one's what we're going to do. And I get the last one over here. There's 2 on the back corner here. And 1 on the front. Okay, so I got those pulled down a little bit. Now I go ahead and torque them. Okay, everybody wants to know what tools I use. This is a snap-on flex head, 3/8 ratchet, or not torque wrench. There's a number in there someplace. Figure it out. And then I use their torque adapter, which is this thing. So it's 3/8 drive here with our 12.916. So there's some numbers to go hunting for. Yeah, whatever, figure it out. So this allows you to flex the head up or down a little bit, which allows it to work on the back head when you can't get to it. Now if you're at 90 degrees, the torque is what you got. If you're over here, it's more. If it's down here, you're less. And you can move this around wherever you need to be to get it to where you can torque on it. And you just have a little flip thing over here. Go like that, adjust the dial, put it back up, you're good. Okay, so right now this is going to go to 50. 35. Okay, we're going to do about 35 on this one initially. I just pull them down until they get a little bit of torque on this stuff. There's quite a bit of pulling, so we'll come back on that. Now getting to here is going to be fun. Like pretty much non-existent to get in there. So usually I come on a double box wrench like this, and you do something like this, we can get to it. And that'll be the torque we're going to use. Just do it the old-fashioned way. Tighten it up. Okay, that one pulled in. Getting to the center bolts is really rough. And the torque does not work, it's working backwards. Pretty hard to get to these areas. There's that one. There's you. There's you. There's you. Alright, come over the side and see how much fun we're having over here. It's really hard to get in these areas to actually torque. Alright, so to get up into these tight areas, you have to really work at it. That one's tight. That one's tight. Okay, now the one under here in the back, this is where the flex head comes in handy. You have to get up under here. This clutch is in the way, so you either go high or low. Can't go low anymore, so I'm going to go high. Okay, now I can torque into here. Let's see, I can move this up or down a little bit to clear stuff over here if I have to. Okay, now we come up over here, we got to torque this one. See, the fins are in the way. Can't get there. Yeah, I can't get it up any better. We can see either. So we have to do is I got to flip this around the other way. Flip it upside down like this, and the torque doesn't work that way. So you're pretty much tightening stuff up with unknown torques. So I'm able to catch it right there. Go up until you hit the fin right here. Drop it down. Try to get this back into here any way you can. Flip it over. See if that helps. Sometimes it does. There, I was able to get onto it. Ooh, we can actually torque it normal here for about half a second. Go this direction. Okay, so I was able to get onto it that way. Ah. So you don't have enough room to go full stroke. So you gotta flip this thing over each time. Because I only got that much movement. Kind of a pain in the butt. Like I said, these ones have no torque on them, we just tighten them by hand. Okay, that's tight. Okay, I'm going to get this last one under here to do. Rotate this thing around, put it under here. Oh, great. That's it. This has been cut too. Okay, finally get it up on the bolt head. Stuck on there now. There you go. It's rubbing pretty heavy right on the edge there. Try it again. There we go. That time it went in there easy. Okay, so we got all these torqued down to initial torque. Now I'm going to go ahead and pop this up to 52. Right there, which is Harley's minimum torque for these motors. Okay, so I got to judge how much pull I got on here, and how much I'm pulling on this. That's why I'm going to tighten these two, because I can't get into doing these. There's that one. Back over here on this one. Go back to our front one. those. Okay, so now we got to turn off the torque part by going the opposite direction. Go back to these center bolts up here. Everybody thinks new bikes are hard to get to. These things are miserable to do. Pans and knuckleheads both have the same problem on this. These center bolts, you can't get to them. That's why they moved them on the shovel head motor. Alright, starting to get some torque on that one. Flip it around over this one. That's pretty good. Okay, now I got on the other side, give them a quick torque on that side. I'm going to change it up and go tighter. Okay. Now we're going to kick it up to 65 foot-pounds. That one. Alright. Back over here. Now we're on 65. So this one here. That was good. Camera's on my way right now. Yeah, that's that one. Go up underneath this one. Then we get the front one. Alright. So we get these two middle ones. Gotta turn the torque off. That one. That's pretty tight. I'll get the last one to do, which is the hardest one, this front one. Now this one's strictly a guesstimate on torque, so we can't get in the way of torque on that. trying to get tight. Check the feel for my torque. Oh yeah, we're tight. We're tighter than those. So I got a little more than 65 on that, probably about 75 on that. Oh well. That's probably do one at a time, quarter turn increments. That one's pretty tight too. Okay, so now we got the head bolts all torqued. You see how it's kind of a pain in the ass to do. Alright. So now we got to figure out a top motor mount up in here. We got to straighten out this motor mount bracket, which is got beat on a little bit. Gotta get valves in here. Gotta get the exhaust pipe in there. So I think the next hardest thing to do is gonna get an exhaust pipe. So I gotta see what I gotta do to get those in there. Okay, I'll make sure I got my clearances. So I got my good clearance on that, except for the back of the frame where I can't get to it. So we got issues with that. And we got a little bit of clearance right here. You see how we're a little bit tight, but it's got a little bit of clearance in there too. So we're at my little plate I had right here. There's my little plate. And that does go in there. So we got at least that much, so we're good. Alright, so that's how you got those all in there. Now it's just a matter of figuring out the next step in the process. So I'm going to do the exhaust. Okay, let me go get the parts I need for that and I'll be back.